It's week 4 here in the 2025 season on Madden 24. And after a 2-0 start, we find ourselves now 2-1 after falling to the Atlanta Falcons in week 3. It's a short week, but we are taking on the Denver Broncos, and we have been tasked with allowing 2 or fewer offensive touchdowns in this one. But with a bottom 10 defense in both yards and points allowed, that's going to be a tough task. It could be easier if our QB1 Justin Herbert can get things going, but he's really struggled so far this season, and we are going to continue to run the ball. I'm looking at the defense, and although it is only week 4, I'm already trying to think of ways that we could improve this squad, but I don't really think the defense has been the problem. Joey Bosa was excellent in week 1. However, he is now out injured. We should have him back next week, if I remember correctly. Khalil Mack has been solid enough. Asante Samuel and Derwin James have been making plays. Miles Jack has been a very good addition at linebacker. And Junior Colson is an early contender for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And really, it's been our offense failing to stay out on the field that has been putting all the pressure on the defense. Justin Herbert has just 501 yards through 3 games, which I believe puts him in the bottom 25% of the NFL. He's only thrown 3 touchdowns as well to 2 interceptions with a 55% completion rate. And outside of J.K. Dobbins, our offense really has been struggling to get going. Josh Palmer, Quentin Johnston, even the rookie lad McConkey have all had quiet starts to the season. The offensive line is holding up fairly well though. And if we take a look at the trade block, there really aren't very many options to give Justin Herbert a few more weapons to play with. So we will be looking to improve this team here in season 1, and that will likely be via trade, but we're going to wait and see how things pan out and potentially make some moves closer to the deadline. But now we're going to jump into this game against the Broncos, and we're going to try and defend the short pass. So I don't imagine we will see Jared Stidham, but I anticipate the rookie Bo Nix stepping out onto the field. So we will try our best to force Bo Nix to beat us over the top. We will try to establish the run, and we will try to pick some deep shots of our own. It's going to be 15 first downs this week. We're going to try and hit 300 yards against what should be a fairly weak Broncos defense. We're going to try and allow 24 points or less in this one. I'm going to really try and get Justin Herbert's season kickstarted with 2 or more passing touchdowns. And we do get a couple of upgrade points for some important receivers, some of Justin Herbert's only real weapons on the team. Quentin Johnston, first of all, and I think we just want to make Johnston a primary deep threat. He's not really set up to be that currently, but at 6'4", 215, with decent enough speed and a good spectacular catch rating, I think we do just want to invest in deep threat, try and get that deep route running up, try and get that spectacular catch up even more as well, and that's exactly what we get. +2 deep, +1 release is very useful as well, and +3 spec catch, so up to 85 spec catch, 77 deep route, and I don't see release here. Release is just a 72. No wonder he has so much trouble winning off the line of scrimmage. As for Lad McConkey, I think we just want to make him a playmaker. We want him to be our Z receiver, just our dynamic playmaker. Just get open, catch the ball. You don't need to do much more than that. So catching traffic could do with going up at just a 75. Really, really good speed and very well rounded in terms of a route runner. So how can we get that catching traffic up? Probably with slot, I would say. I don't just want McConkey to be a slot receiver. I want him to be our number 2. And I do want him to go deep down the field every now and again. So +2 catching traffic and +1 catching is not the worst upgrade. So we are just about ready to jump into this one. As always, we will be using our custom play call sheet. So when we need a big conversion, a first down, when we need a score, we're going to have plenty of options to go to. But without further ado, let's head over to Mile High and start calling the plays in this Thursday night primetime matchup. This is Lamsey. We do have game audio, but I'm an idiot and forgot to turn it on. I do notice partway through the first quarter, so hopefully you can deal with it until then. Enjoy the video. So, Chargers, Falcons. Nope, that was last week. Chargers, Broncos here in week 4. We lost to the Falcons in week 3. One of the best offenses in the league, so no real shame in losing to them. They looked really dangerous with Kirk Cousins at the helm. I'm hoping that despite Sean Payton being the man to lead this team, that Bo Nix will be far less effective than Kirk Cousins. The Broncos' offense will be far less effective than the Falcons. And we will be able to come away with the victory here to get back in the win column. But we won't be seeing the Broncos' offense just yet. They will kick to Darius Davis. And he will just touch it back. And that will allow Justin Herbert to lead the Chargers out onto the field for the 4th time this season. Poor start to the season for Justin Herbert. Poor start by anybody's standards, really. 501 yards and just 3 touchdowns through 3 complete games is just not anywhere close to good enough for a quarterback that we were hoping might be amongst the MVP candidates heading into the season. But we will go to our usual opening script from that custom play call sheet. Starting with Mesh, out of gun tight, and Lad McConkey. A dead-eye pass from Justin Herbert. And McConkey puts it on the ground. That should have got our game off to an excellent start. And instead, immediately, 1 play into the game, we're going to be behind the sticks. So we're going to run the ball here on 2nd and 10. J.K. Dobbins has been our most reliable player so far this season. And he rips off an immediate 15-yard gain to get us right back on schedule. And it's going to be play action here on 1st and 10. And we do have Hayden Hurst underneath. And if he can get the edge here, which he has done, he may well just outrun the Broncos defense. And that is exactly how it's played out. And Hayden Hurst, after 3 plays, is into the Broncos end zone for a touchdown. And that is an ideal start. Lad McConkey got things off to somewhat of an ominous start with that drop that should never have been on the very first play of the game. But 2 plays later, we are into the end zone. And we already have one of those 2 touchdowns that we're looking to throw with Justin Herbert today. And pending the extra point, we will already be up 7-0 here at Mile High. Really good start to the game. So let's see who leads the Broncos out. I think it might be Jared Stidham. It was the number 6. It's not. It's going to be Bo Nix. I could have sworn that I changed Bo Nix's number to 10, which is what he will be wearing in real life for the Broncos. Apparently, I didn't do that. But it is going to be Bo Nix to lead the Broncos out for their first drive of the game. And we are going to look to be a little more stout on defense than we were last week. Junior Colson providing some good coverage. In addition to the secondary, it is a completion underneath, though. That's exactly what we were looking to take away today. We are trying to force Bo Nix to beat us over the top. We're trying to take away those underneath passes, but we had allowed another one there. But it's another bad drop, this time for the Broncos. And it's going to be a 3rd and 5. And if we can get a bit of pressure on Bo Nix here, we're only sending a 4-man rush. And we are manning up on the back end. And Tui Pelotu with Bo Nix scrambling away from pressure that wasn't really there. It gets in for the sack. I didn't see Khalil Mack win off the opposite end. And he didn't. Bo Nix is already seeing ghosts, scrambling into pressure rather than away from it. But that does bring up a 4th and 14, and the Broncos will punt. So Darius Davis, of course, with a chance to return, and he could have the edge here. 1 man to beat, just about manages to beat him. But the Broncos defender did enough to delay Darius Davis, and that allowed some additional tacklers to arrive. So back out for the second drive of the game. We're going to start things off with a run to J.K. Dobbins, but the Broncos are all over it. The rookie Jonah Ellis in for the tackle. Can't remember if he was, I think he was the 3rd round pick for the Broncos. And he makes a nice tackle there. We are going to go straight back to the run, though. If the Broncos are going to invite us to run, then we will take them up on that offer. And that's exactly what they did there. An incredibly light formation, especially in the middle of the line of scrimmage there. And we took full advantage. So 1st and 10 from midfield. And Justin Herbert is scrambling, says nothing on there. And he's just going to slide after just a 4-yard gain. We saw Justin Herbert pick up a knock in the first game of the season when he ran a little too often in that game, so we are looking to dial it back somewhat. This time we hit Lad McConkey underneath, and he does manage to bring it in. And it's been a great start offensively. We are really moving the ball here early. Struggling a little on the ground, though. The Broncos with another tackle for no gain there, and we're going to go back to this pistol formation and this little, not exactly trick play. And again, it's going to be a flag. I was just about to say, if it's a flag this time, then we're just going to take this play out of our playbook. I've been running this play and we've not been getting called for an ineligible player downfield. And this time it's actually holding. So potentially it wouldn't have been a flag for an ineligible man on that occasion. And instead we get called for something else. So we'll probably leave it in the playbook for now and revisit that in the future. And instead we'll just run the ball with J.K. Dobbins here. That again is blown up though. This time by Cody Barton. Just a 1-yard gain. And I think at this stage we're just trying to get back into comfortable field position. Field goal position rather. So we will just run a screen and look to get 5 or 6 yards at the very least. And J.K. Dobbins takes it up to the 30. So he does manage to get 5. It's going to be a 4th and 14. And we will try a field goal from about 47. We do also have the wind behind us, so it should be relatively comfortable for Will Lutz. And indeed it is. Right down the middle. Plenty of distance. And it's going to be a 10-0 lead early here for the Chargers at Mile High. I'm an idiot and I've been playing without the game audio on. So apologies for that. However, it is on now. And it will be on for the remainder of the game, as I assume it's actually Audric Estime, another rookie for the Broncos. I anticipate that being Javonte Williams with the nice gain on first down. But it's the rookie Estime who rips off a decent run to bring the Broncos up to the 38-yard line. Not so much happening on a back-to-back second carry this time. Khalil Mack wrapping Estime up after just a 2-yard gain. And we'll try and hold the Broncos here on 2nd and 8 as they approach midfield. It is going to be another run play, and it is going to be another big one for Audric Estime. The Broncos managing to establish the run in a way that we haven't been able to so far today. And they are up to midfield and the 46-yard line on 1st and 10. We'll just man up the middle of the field here with Junior Colson. Well, not man up, but man that area of the field in zone coverage. That's not confusing at all. We do finally manage to slow the Broncos down on this drive. It's going to be a 2nd and 9. And it is going to be a pass. Oh, in the area of Junior Colson. But not quite alert enough. Still a rookie. He's still learning to read those kinds of situations. And on 3rd and 9, we will again go out in man coverage. We will again press the Broncos at the line of scrimmage. And it is going to be a screenplay that we completely blew up there. And who else but Junior Colson, the man to do exactly that. He was in the backfield, I think, before Bo Nix even knew that it was a screen. Absolutely blew that one to smithereens. And again, for the 2nd time in as many drives, the Broncos will be forced to punt, and it goes straight into the end zone. And it will be a touchback, and we will start again from the 20-yard line. So 3rd drive of the game, we have scored on each of our 2 drives so far, and pressure got in incredibly quick on that occasion. That was a quick pass play. Just a little crosser out to the tight ends coming across the formation. But we failed to get it off because pressure came in so quickly there, and we will just run on 2nd down. We've been running on 2nd far more often than we've been running on 1st. And J.K. Dobbins again rips off a nice gain. 7 yards. It's going to be a 3rd and 3. And I've accidentally called a play there that I didn't really want to call. So we're going to try and hit Quentin Johnston, who we managed to find over the middle of the field. And this is the Justin Herbert that we have been expecting to see all season. Quentin Johnston with a deep in. Justin Herbert holds strong in the pocket. and lays it perfectly out in front of him for the conversion on third down. Really nice pass into the stride of Quinton Johnston. And I'm liking what I'm seeing so far in this first quarter from the offense. We'll hit J.K. Dobbins underneath this time for a 6-yard gain. But it's going to be the rookie Kamani Vidal to come in on second down. Not a lot there for him, though. Brings up a 3rd and 1. Clock is probably going to tick away to the end of the first quarter here, though. And we will be back out for the second. So a 3rd and 1 here. And I'm going to make what's probably going to be a bad decision and run play action. But it ends up working out. Josh Palmer with the grab. Justin Herbert again with a really well-placed ball. Not just in front of Josh Palmer, but just out in front of the Broncos linebacker as well. And that was a risky play call with just a yard to gain on third down and not really in field goal range, but it does pay off. And with 2 Broncos in the A-gap, we could have an easy completion to Ladd McConkey here. And that is exactly what we get. Ladd McConkey up the seam, makes the grab. 4 Broncos there to bring him down, but not before he takes it up to the 9-yard line. And we have a real opportunity to punch this in for another score. And we have our receiver at the back of the end zone, Josh Palmer. But the throw on the run is inaccurate. And I really do want a touchdown here. A field goal, not all that useful. And we will just hit Ladd McConkey, but broken up. Good coverage by Singleton to meet Ladd McConkey at the ball when it arrived. And I think we will just run the ball here on third down, because I am more than willing to go for it if we get close on 4th down, which is exactly the situation we find ourselves in. We're down to the 2-yard line, but I am not kicking a field goal here. We are going for this. I'm going to try and punch it in with Gus Edwards here under the shadows of the Broncos pylons. And we're going to run behind Andrew Norwell, and Gus Edwards is going to be close, but he's not quite going to get there. He's going to be about a half-yard short. And he is going to head to the sidelines with an injury as well. So the Broncos will get the ball back without a score. However, they are going to be, again, under the shadows of their own goal line. And they are going to mix up what they're doing. And they are going to... Come on, Miles Jack, you've got to catch him. There was no way we could get out of that. I should have just called a timeout. The Broncos line up as if they're going to run, obviously, considering the field position. So we line up to stop that run, commit to running up the middle. The Broncos audible to something different, and I should have just called the timeout, because they've ripped off a massive 30-yard gain. A 70-yard gain, rather. They're up to our 30-yard line. And it's another good run by Estime. Junior Colson again in the backfield, but couldn't bring the Broncos running back down. And it looked for a minute as we could be going up 17-0. But instead, the Broncos are now well within scoring distance with a chance to make it 10-7. Miles Jack forces Estime to the edge, and we do manage to bring him down after just a 4-yard gain. Oh, I wish I just called a timeout. That would have saved so much bother here. It's going to be play action. Can we get in for the sack for a second time? Yes, we can. And who is it? You know who it is. It's Junior Colson. What a rookie season this guy is having. Multiple sacks on the season. He has an interception to his name. I think potentially even has a forced fumble. And this guy is putting together a season that should see him rise to at least star development, if not superstar, come the end of it. Man coverage has worked well for us on 3rd and long so far. There's no reason not to go back to it again here. And look at Tui Pelotu. 2 sacks on the game now, forcing the Broncos back to the 28-yard line. It's probably not quite enough to prevent the field goal. But when Joey Bosa went down in week 1, I thought we were going to really struggle to get pressure on the quarterback. And I thought for certain we'd be relying on Khalil Mack to get what pressure we could manage. But it's actually been Tuipulotu who's been stepping up. And he has 2 sacks here today. We do hold the Broncos to just a field goal. So it is going to be a 10-3 lead as Darius Davis will field the kick, touch it back, and allow Justin Herbert to take to the field once more. Just 97 yards of offense for the Broncos so far. Much better performance from our defense than previous. But as I was saying in the intro and in the previous episode, I don't really think it's been the defense themselves that's been the issue. I feel like we've been playing relatively well on that side of the ball. But the offense's failure to stay out on the field has just put far more pressure on the defense than we would like. And after a 2-yard loss, we're going to come out here on 2nd down and try and gain as many of those yards back as we can. Lad McConkey's got 8. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 4. And we're just going to try and hit Quentin Johnston on this little curl route here. And it's another poor throw from Justin Herbert. Quentin Johnston was isolated on that left side. 1-on-1. And he beat his man with the curl route. But Justin Herbert's throw off target once more. So instead, we will have to punt away back to the Broncos. They will have a chance to return if they wish, but just a fair catch. We haven't sent a huge amount of pressure at Bo Nix yet, but we are going to be sending pressure on this particular play. And again, it's Junior Colson. He is just everywhere in the backfield for a tackle for loss this time, and he continues to stack up numbers. And the Broncos are going to run out of empty on 2nd down, but they are going to be called for a penalty. I think it's going to be encroachment on the defense on Morgan Fox. How that's happened, I'm not sure, but we gift the Broncos 5 yards. And it's going to bring up a 2nd and 8 for the Broncos. We've really dropped the ball on that one. We had them right where we wanted them once more, but again, pressure gets in. And again, it's Tuipulotu. Absolutely unstoppable. And you guessed it, we're going man coverage once more on 3rd and long. We're going to use a Tuipulotu. Again, pressure's going to get in, but that's primarily because the Broncos allow it in. And they run a screen play in behind. And SMA is going to make his first catch of the game. It's going to be for an 11-yard gain. And the Broncos are going to convert in a big spot to grab a 1st down. Really could have done with forcing the Broncos to punt on another occasion there. And it's a big, big gain this time for the Broncos. First real explosive play through the air for Bo Nix. Marvin Mims, the receiver. And again, they're into Chargers territory, looking to tie the game up here in the 2nd quarter. We are obviously going to try and prevent them from doing that. And it's a nice, nice corner route again to Marvin Mims. Back-to-back plays from Bo Nix to Marvin Mims. And it looks like the rookie quarterback has already selected his favorite receiver. And it's not Troy Franklin, the man who came from Oregon along with Bo Nix. I'm not sure we've seen him out on the field yet. We certainly haven't seen him targeted yet. Instead, it's Marvin Mims who's been earning the targets for Bo Nix. Khalil Mack wins off the edge. And Bo Nix, couple of nice plays there back-to-back, but he doesn't know when to get rid of the ball. Scrambles away to his right this time. And in his defense, there was actually pressure. Not only from Khalil Mack, but up the middle as well. And he just has to get rid of that ball. Sebastian Joseph Day it was, winning up the middle. But it's going to be a 2nd and 21 here for the Broncos. Khalil Mack now in the zone. So we will be looking to try and force the Broncos out of field goal range if we can. But at the very least, we do need to hold them to just 3 points here. And I think we will actually concede the 3 points. We will give them 3. We just don't want to give up 7. And Bo Nix eventually, finally does throw it away. And it's going to make the field goal a little longer than you would like. It's going to be a 48-yarder. But I anticipate Graham Gano is going to have the leg and the accuracy to convert this. And we're going to have a 2-minute drive to try and put another touchdown on the board before we go in for the break. Darius Davis will get a chance to return this one right from the edge of the end zone, and he gets absolutely leveled. And we will start from the 18-yard line on this one. So let's try and put together a drive here. We really could do with 7 more points before the end of the quarter. And Hayden Hurst, I thought for a moment that he dropped the ball there. But he does make the grab. It's a decent enough gain to start the drive. And as the 2-minute warning arrives, we will come out with a 1st and 10 from the 36. And we're going to test the Broncos deep here with Lad McConkey. Has Justin Herbert put enough on it to loft it over the slot corner? He hadn't. So we'll bring up a 2nd and 10. We're going to go back to the screen game with J.K. Dobbins. And Patrick Surtain was all over that. Good blocks out in front initially, but Surtain blew it up, and it's just a 5-yard gain. And I'm kind of tempted to run the ball here, and I think I will. We've got that double A gap look, which does tend to be fairly easy to run on. And J.K. Dobbins is going to be close. It's going to be 4th and inches. 1:09 left on the clock from our 46-yard line, and I'm going to go for it. We're going to run with Gus Edwards up the middle and try and convert here on 4th down, because I don't want to punt away to the Broncos on 4th and inches. I really want 7 points on the board. Can he fall forward, Gus Edwards? I think he's just about done enough, and he has. We are going to take a timeout. We have 3 available. We have a little over a minute, and the time was ticking away there as we did manage to just about convert for the 1st down. A field goal would be fine. It would be acceptable. It wouldn't be ideal. Lad McConkey makes the grab. We are going to run hurry up here and try and get back to the line as quickly as possible to run another play. 43 seconds left on the clock. And we are going deep, and that is not a good throw. Thankfully, it does fall incomplete, but it is going to bring up a 3rd and 6. And again, this is a bold play call, but I do like the look of it. And Quentin Johnston is there. Can he get out of bounds? He can't. We are going to be forced to take our 2nd timeout. Really, really good route from Quentin Johnston across the middle of the field. And he did well to make that grab in traffic. And I'm not sure what I'd like here, but we do have Lad McConkey running down the field. We do also have Hayden Hurst underneath, and we're throwing the ball right to Patrick Surtain. I don't know how that's happened. I could have sworn he was carrying Lad McConkey down the field. We're going to have to look at that one again, because we're going to need to analyse what's happened there. I could have sworn he was carrying Lad McConkey into the end zone. But he sits underneath, makes the grab. And it's not going to be 7. It's not even going to be 3. It's going to be 0. So let's take a look at that one again. Patrick Surtain does carry Lad McConkey initially, but it must be some kind of cover 3, because he completely leaves him as Justin Herbert begins to throw the ball. And Lad McConkey, if we led him to the outside area of the end zone, likely would have been in for a touchdown there. But I thought Patrick Surtain would be carrying Lad McConkey, and that would leave that space underneath open for Hayden Hurst. And instead, Patrick Surtain bails out, sits on the underneath route instead, and picks it off. And instead, we're just going to have to try and prevent the Broncos from scoring here before time elapses in the first half rather. Decent enough start as we force an incompletion on 1st down. Just 18 seconds left on the clock for the Broncos. Oh, and Marvin Mims again. Marvin Mims again. Bo Nix and Marvin Mims. Name a better duo. I will wait. It's going to be a 1st and 10 from the 22 for the Broncos. We have just given up explosive play after explosive play. Look at that from Tui Palotu, though. The spin move inside. But Broncos are in range for a field goal. They're going to kick it before we go to the halftime break. And they are going to receive when we come out for the 2nd half as well. So chance to put back-to-back scores on the board for the Broncos. But 4 seconds rather left in the game. Graham Gano kicks his 3rd field goal of the game to make it just a 1-point lead. And I guess the one consolation in that first half is that we have held the Broncos just to 3 field goals. They haven't scored a touchdown. And the final kickoff will put the ball into the hands of Darius Davis, and he will have a chance to return. And he does have the edge, and we had the juke. Juked out one man, couldn't juke out the second. If he could, it would have been daylight and green grass for Darius Davis. But with 33 offensive snaps to the Broncos 26, we have had time of possession in that first half, but haven't managed to really establish the lead that we should have. So we're going to have to look to get a few more points on the board here in the second half to secure this victory. The Broncos will get the first drive of the second half as Audric Estime comes out alongside Bo Nix. Lots of rookies on this Broncos offense, but you wouldn't really have guessed based on that first half performance. Bo Nix has been very, very good. Audric Estime the same. And no real appearance from Troy Franklin yet. But we'll see if he gets involved here in the second half. And I think it might be up to us to put a little bit more pressure on Bo Nix in this second half. That's what we're going to try and do here with the blitz. Forces the ball out quickly. Miles Jack is there to make the tackle. And it's going to be a 3rd and 6. So if we could force the Broncos 3 and out here on the first drive of the game, that would be fantastic. And Asante Samuel is there in close coverage. Can't prevent the completion though. And again, it's Marvin Mims. Where has this guy come from? Bo Nix just seems to be unlocking a new level to Marvin Mims that we haven't seen so far in his career. Asante Samuel makes the tackle. He's been doing far more of that than intercepting the ball and making pass breakups so far this season. Looking for him to step up a little more as we progress here in 2025. Really good play by Miles Jack to break that one up. Brings up another 3rd down for the Broncos. And again, we will go to man coverage. Man coverage has served us very well on 3rd down so far. And again, Tui Pelotu forces the ball out, but it's complete this time to Cortland Sutton. And Miles Jack and Lane come up to make the tackle. But it's another conversion on 3rd down for the Broncos. We had the edge on them with man coverage early in the game. Potentially, we need to change our approach on 3rd down because the Broncos have worked it out, it seems. And I'm not a massive fan of this, but I don't really want to call a timeout to get out of it. We've got Junior Colson trying to cover Cortland Sutton down the field, and Derwin James was lurking in the flat on that left side of the field. Manages to bat the ball away. Looked for a moment as if he might be able to come up with an interception there. But we are still searching for our first interception in this game. Greg Dulcich is open underneath, and how did the pressure not get there? I felt the pressure, so did Bo Nix. He managed to throw the ball away. Sack there would have been more than enough to force the Broncos out of field goal range. But instead they have a chance to convert here on 3rd down. And we're not going to go with man coverage this time. Instead, we're going to sit back in zone. And again, the pressure gets in on Bo Nix. We need to prevent him from scrambling for a 1st down himself, and we do. And they're going to have the ball on the 36-yard line, the Broncos, with a 4th and 6. I imagine they're going to try a field goal from here, and they will. But it's what, a 53-yarder? It's not a gimme by Gano by any means. But he has gone 3 for 3 so far. And he will go 4 for 4. Makes the 53-yarder with ease. And the Broncos will take their first lead of the game. They are, however, yet to score a touchdown. So Darius Davis again with a chance to return this one. And again, the blocks shape up fairly well. But cannot be held for long enough to create any real space for Darius Davis. And Patrick Surtain is now in the zone. So we're going to have to try and avoid him at all costs. We will... Well, I was going to say we will target him in the run game, though, but he's absolutely thrown. I think it was Robert Tunyon to the ground there. It may have been Hayden Hurst. And we're going to go play action here on 1st and 10. It is Double coverage on the left side of the field there, though, and Hayden Hurst will make the grab and take it up to the 50-yard line. This is a much, much better start than we've been having on recent drives. And Kamani Vidal will look to keep things going here on 1st and 10 with a run up the middle, which he manages to find 8 yards on. And we're going to go back to the run here on 2nd and 2. Not a lot of push up the middle on this occasion. We're actually going to lose a yard, J.K. Dobbins, on that occasion. And it's going to bring up a 3rd and 3. I'm not a massive fan of this situation at all. We are just going to roll out to the right with Justin Herbert. Do not intercept that. Oh my God. Patrick Surtain almost in for his 2nd interception of the game as we looked for Ladd McConkey. Surtain did not look to have position to make a grab there. And on the Broncos' 42-yard line, with the way our defense has been playing so far, I want to go for this. So that is exactly what we are going to do here. Another bold call from Jim Harbaugh. And there's nothing on. We're just going to throw it up towards the end zone, where Josh Palmer was lying in wait. Patrick Surtain there as well. But again, it falls incomplete. Broncos took away our 1st read, our 2nd read. 3rd read didn't really exist. 3rd read was scramble out to the right and try and make something happen. But we're going to give the ball to the Broncos on their 42-yard line, with a chance to extend their lead here in this one. I like the call. I'm not a massive fan of the 3rd down call if the plan is to go for it on 4th. But going for it on 4th I think is fine. But I think we should have looked ahead on 3rd down there and considered the possibility that we would go for it. Because a 4th and 3 is a lot to ask. Whereas a 4th and 1 or even a 4th and 2 is obviously a lot more manageable. Back-to-back runs for the Broncos, and Audric Estime finds the edge. Miles Jack eventually finds Audric Estime's face mask with his elbow. But it's going to be another big run for the Broncos rookie. And they are again going to be approaching the red zone here. It's going to be play action, going to the end zone, but way out of the back of the end zone for Bo Nix. He's completed only 9 passes so far today, but he's thrown for 200 yards. So again, we're just going to try and hold the Broncos to a field goal. And again, it's going to be play action. And again, they're going to go towards the end zone. Derwin James was there to break that one up. Again, I thought potentially he had an opportunity to come down with it. And we are going to send a bit of heat at Bo Nix on 3rd and 10 here. Try and force the ball out quickly. We do manage to do that, but it's such a good grab. It's going to be a 4th and inches, though. That looked to be a 1st down to me. Lane comes up to make the tackle. And it's going to be an interesting decision for the Broncos. They are going to kick the field goal. We are just going to go with a safe formation in case they go with the fake. I'm not anticipating they do go with the fake. I imagine they will just kick, and they do. And the Broncos will extend their lead, but only to 5 points. So we can still take a touchdown, or take the lead rather, with a touchdown, if we can get a drive going here. I mean, we got a drive going last time out before Justin Herbert threw it straight to Patrick Surtain. And again, we're going to start with less than desirable field position, this time from the 19. So let's put some points on the board. We've gone far too long without a score in this game. This Ladd McConkey grabs another pass underneath for a 6-yard gain. And we just need to play sensible football here. Make the right play calls in the right situations. And we should be able to drive down and put the ball in the end zone for the 2nd time today. Just need to take it one play at a time, one drive at a time. And the Broncos were all over that 3rd down run. And instead it's going to be a 3 and out. Looking to put 7 points on the board. Kamani Vidal wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. And instead we're going to be punting away to the Broncos. And I'm not sure what's happened to our offense, because the Broncos couldn't really stop us in our first drive of the game. And since then, we've been able to get very little going. We've moved the ball with some success, but we faltered at crucial moments. And we certainly haven't been consistent on offense. We've moved the ball with some success at times, but certainly not consistently and with rhythm. And it's going to be a conversion for another first down for the Broncos. Cortland Sutton with the grab this time. And the Broncos will run this next play from the 43. Again, it's going to be play action. And Miles Jack got absolutely flattened on that. Just absolutely manhandled by the Broncos center. So as the third quarter ticks to an end, it's going to be a completion underneath. But Miles Jack there to make the play this time. And it's going to be a 3rd and 7 when we come out for the fourth quarter. At least I assume the Broncos won't run a final play here. So 3rd and 7. We can force the Broncos off the field here, which we have managed to do. Then I like our chances of winning this game. We can score a touchdown and put 2 points on the board to make it a field goal game. And from there, I think we can see the game out. But we have to put the touchdown on the board first. Everything else is irrelevant if we can't manage to do that. So let's go back out and utilize that opening script once more. We are slightly modifying the opening script. We're going with the same basic concepts, but already we're in trouble. Justin Herbert couldn't find anything from his 11-yard line. Ended up throwing the ball away from his own end zone. And we are really struggling to get anything going here. But we do have Hayden Hurst underneath again, and Justin Herbert's missed him. He's supposed to be a 92 overall potential MVP quarterback. And you can't even make a basic throw. Come on. We're getting no help from our quarterback at the moment. Supposed to be a franchise guy, but he is not proving himself to be that right now. Quentin Johnston, go up and get it. Can't do so. Justin Herbert doesn't have a wealth of weapons around him, but when a guy does get open, you have to be able to hit him in stride. And Justin Herbert has failed to do that on far too many occasions. That was a simple throw that any quarterback worth his salt should be able to make. Drop the ball. Thought we might get a fumble there. But not to be. 3 and out again. Offense is really faltering. So the Broncos have the ball once more with a chance to put this game away. Junior Colson was there to make the tackle. Audric Estime bounces off. Another would-be tackler. And he's gone for 100 yards with just 13 carries. And this Broncos offense may not be the most explosive offense we've seen this season. Miles Jack. He's thrown it right to you. We finally forced the rookie quarterback to make a mistake. And Miles Jack can't catch the ball either. I was just saying, this Broncos offense not the most explosive, but it certainly is efficient. And an interception there would have been huge. And we can't come down with it. Marvin Mims can, though. He must have 100 yards today now as well. He is over 100 yards with that. 110 on just 6 grabs. And we are very much in danger of watching this game slip through our fingers. Catch the ball. Let's go. Run. Go. You've got to be faster than Bo Nix. You're not faster than Bo Nix. Christian Fulton makes the interception just as we are watching the game slip through our fingers. Bo Nix tried to throw an interception a couple of plays prior, and he's done so on that occasion. Christian Fulton in decent enough coverage, but certainly not all over his man. It was more of just an errant throw from Bo Nix. We've seen 1 or 2 of those from Justin Herbert today. We finally see one from Bo Nix. And we are going to have the ball at midfield with, again, a chance to take the lead in this game. We cannot keep letting these chances go to waste. Can Quinton Johnston win off the line of scrimmage? Irrelevant, because the safety does carry him. How has the pressure got in that quick? How has the pressure got in that quick? My first read was Johnston. My second read was the check down. I didn't even have time to get to that second read. And again, our first read is Johnston deep here. The safety does back off. Do we have Johnston this time? Can he loft it over the quarterback? The cornerback, rather. And in those situations, I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. Quinton Johnston wins enough off the line. The safety drifts toward the middle of the field. And this, to me, looks open. Quinton Johnston has the step. He hasn't quite stacked the cornerback, but, I mean, it's close enough. And all Justin Herbert needs to do is lead it out in front because the safety is moved towards the middle of the field. And this just consistently, despite 98 throw power, seems to be underthrown. Because Quinton Johnston has to slow down and turn back towards the ball. And the cornerback is there making the play. I haven't bullet passed that. I haven't lobbed it either. I've just done a regular touch pass to try and loft that over the head of the cornerback. And maybe I need to move away from classic passing because I was pass leading up the field as well there and it just doesn't seem to be enough. Ladd McConkey underneath with the first down. So we do get a big conversion through the rookie receiver. But I think Quinton Johnston would have been in for a touchdown there. I think we're going to have something on this left side of the field. A check down at the very least, if nothing more. And J.K. Dobbins gets 7 yards on the reception. And we're going to run play action here on 2nd and 3. And we have our man out in the flat. It's the fullback, Horvath. Does make the grab, but just for a 2-yard gain. And the Broncos are kind of stacking the line of scrimmage here. I'm not a massive fan of this, but I think we're just going to have to run the ball anyway. Andrew Norwell holds up just for long enough to allow J.K. Dobbins to squeeze by him. And it is going to be a 1st and 10. And we're going to run the ball here again as we approach the Broncos red zone. And J.K. Dobbins grabs another 6. A bit more of a quiet game for him today than he's been used to so far this season. So first read here is Ladd McConkey. Second is Hayden Hurst. Third is throw it away. And we do just throw the ball away. Field goal obviously does nothing. We need a touchdown here, so we are going to run the ball. That's so well defended by the Broncos, though. And we are going to have to go for it here on 4th and 4, I think. Is there any advantage to kicking a field goal? We kick the field goal as 15-13. I don't see any real advantage to kicking a field goal here, so we're going to be forced to go for it again on 4th down. And again, we're looking for Ladd McConkey underneath, and he makes a huge grab. I said earlier in the episode, I don't want Ladd McConkey to just be a slot guy for us, but he is doing a more than adequate job there today. And we may have Ladd McConkey up the seam here, and we do, and he makes the grab through contact. And we do have the lead once more in this game. Ladd McConkey with potentially a breakout game here early in the season. He's had a tough 3 games to begin the year, but he's closing in on 100 yards. And he does have a 4th quarter touchdown now to give us the lead. And that was a big, big grab in the end zone. We upgraded his catch in traffic before the game, and surely that helped there, as we will try and convert the 2-point conversion, which we do manage to do. So it's going to be a field goal game late here in the 4th quarter. About 5 minutes left to play. We haven't allowed a touchdown to the Broncos yet. Field goals only. And obviously, that's going to be less than ideal if we give them another field goal here. But that would give us the opportunity to go down and score a field goal of our own to win the game. 2nd and 2 for the Broncos at their own 33-yard line to start this drive, though. And Miles Jack nowhere close. And Estime Closing in on 120 now. We're going to have to do something to stop the run here in this fourth quarter, because we cannot allow the Broncos to run all of this time off the clock and then score a touchdown of their own to win the game. Completion underneath. Miles Jack is there to make the tackle. So it's going to be a 2nd and 6 from the 44, and it's going to be another run play for the Broncos, but this time dealt with by Khalil Mack. And on 3rd and 4, I would love to go man coverage here, but the Broncos have just been all over that in the second half. And zone coverage doesn't work either. 350 total yards for the Broncos as they grab another first down and move into Chargers territory as we approach the 2-minute warning here in the fourth quarter. Junior Colson with good coverage. Bo Nix does find a completion underneath for another 6 yards though. And Adam Troutman, I believe, does stop the clock. So at least one more play before the 2-minute warning here, potentially more, as Bo Nix orchestrates the offense for the Broncos, and Marvin Mims with a really nice catch. Again through traffic, like Lad McConkey on the drive previous. But the 2-minute warning is going to be a 3-point lead as the Broncos drive to try and either level it or take a lead of their own late in the game. It's going to be another run. Miles Jack forces it back up the middle, where Junior Colson is there to make the tackle. Samaje Perine comes in for one of his first carries of the game and immediately goes down injured. And I think we are just going to run more man coverage here as we approach the end of the game. Junior Colson bails out. Not enough. Not enough. The receiver was double teamed, Cortland Sutton. But not close enough coverage to prevent the completion. We were manned up on the tight end. The tight end stayed in to block. I just bailed out with Junior Colson to try and help out the safety. But it still wasn't enough to prevent Cortland Sutton from making the grab. And it's dumped out into the flat. Miles Jack completely misses on the cut stick. And Estime finds 3 yards. And we might need to start thinking about calling a timeout here, because the Broncos could easily score and there'll be no time left on the clock for us to find a response. We do force Bo Nix to throw the ball away. That does stop the clock. And I think if we can hold them on this 3rd down, then we may just have time to win this game. It has to be a field goal only though. Cannot be a touchdown here. Good coverage. Bo Nix again forced out of the pocket, and he finds Cortland Sutton for the touchdown. Scrambling away to his right-hand side, Bo Nix. And it's going to be on Justin Herbert and the Chargers to find a touchdown of our own here late in the game, because the Broncos have taken a 22-18 lead, and a field goal isn't going to be enough to send it to overtime. So 48 seconds and 3 timeouts. This is the advantage to not taking those timeouts. The Broncos do score with time left on the clock. We do still have all 3 timeouts in our pocket to give us as much time as possible to win this game. So Justin Herbert coming out for what will almost certainly, one way or another, be the final drive of the game. It's going to be play action here on 1st down. And it's going to be a sack. 25 yards to go on 2nd down after the sack, because Justin Herbert does not get rid of the ball. And we may have lost the game on that snap. That may be the snap that loses us the game. I see little point than to run anything other than 4 verts or screens here. Incomplete. Looking for Josh Palmer. We are now in the zone with Justin Herbert, but we haven't had time or really any opportunity to take advantage of that. And we're just going to run a screenplay to J.K. Dobbins and try and get something back here on 3rd down. to at least give us a chance of converting on 4th. And it's just going to be incomplete. 4th and 24. We might as well take the timeout, because there's no point letting that time run off the clock. And I see no way that we can get back in this now. The Broncos are crowding the line of scrimmage, and they do only have one safety deep with 2 receivers on this left-hand side. And if we can lead Josh Palmer out to the left, and he makes... Thought he'd made the grab. I thought Josh Palmer had come down with that. Oh, I was all but ready to call that last time out. Interesting approach from the Broncos. 2 receivers on the left-hand side of the formation. Only 1 cornerback there and 1 safety deep. And I thought we'd done enough to find Josh Palmer. But instead, it's broken up. The Broncos are going to kneel it down. And they are going to come away victorious here in week 4 with a 22-18 victory. These games have been incredibly close. We've had 2 3-point victories to start the season. A 3-point loss last week against the Falcons, and just a 4-point loss here against the Broncos. We had opportunities to win that game, and we just didn't take them. The Broncos scored 1 touchdown the entire game, and we still didn't manage to win. We really need to do some work on offense, because we have gone for 327 total yards, 396 for the Broncos. We rushed for only 87 yards this week, 240 yards through the air for Justin Herbert, but we did allow 251 to Bo Nix. Bo Nix had a really nice game, to be fair to him. 57% completion. But 20 of those passes went for 285 and a touchdown. 1 interception. The stat line isn't all that great, but he looked fairly solid for a rookie quarterback, and what, the 6th rookie quarterback off the board in the 2024 draft. 20 of 38 for Justin Herbert today. 255, 2 touchdowns. He did throw that pick, and I think that was good, intelligent coverage, more so than it was a poor decision by Justin Herbert this time. Just 4.7 yards per carry for J.K. Dobbins this week. Only a handful of carries for Kamani Vidal and Gus Edwards. Ladd McConkey was a star today. 8 for 93 and a touchdown. He looked excellent in the slot. Perhaps we just need to be featuring Ladd McConkey more in that Josh Palmer role, but then I don't know who we would play in the slot. That's the issue with our receivers at the moment. We've got Quentin Johnson and Josh Palmer who pretty much need to be outside, which leaves only the slot for Ladd McConkey. Decent game out of the backfield for J.K. Dobbins. 2 for 31 for Quentin Johnson. We continue to see this. 1 reception, maybe 2. But he goes for, 15 to 20 yards per reception. And again, Junior Colson was an absolute stud on defense. Only 6 tackles today, I'm surprised by, but 2 of those were for loss. He had a sack to his name as well. Miles Jack continues to put up numbers in the tackle category at the very least. Christian Fulton came up with the interception. No forced fumbles, no touchdowns. And I'm not complaining exactly, but we gained 10 staff points here for meeting our scenario goal, which was to allow less than 300 total yards and win. We did neither of those things. We allowed more than 300 yards and we lost. So we do move to 2-2 on the young season, as does the rest of the AFC West. 2-2s across the board in our division. We do, however, have another divisional matchup next week against the Raiders, and we have a breakout challenge for a linebacker. I wouldn't be surprised to see Junior Colson's name in that particular scenario. We do also know a bit more about these draft prospects, so we'll be going through that at the start of next week's episode as well. So we will look to get back to winning ways in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.